Good morning, 6th grade. Hope you guys are doing well. Today you have a nice and short video. Hopefully you guys will be doing a good time here. Don't mind my baby in the background. She is crying for her mama. And we're going to talk about the elements. So let's get started here. So, the elements. What exactly is an element is probably the first question that comes to your mind when you hear the word element. Well, lucky for you, you have a teacher like me who is going to tell you. Let's go. Now, an element. I have two pictures up here. I have some pennies, and those pennies are made out of copper, and I've got some liquid water over here on your right. And of course, that's made of small water particles. Now, a substance that only contains one type of atom is called an element. So, if it only has one type of atom in it, or it is pure as possible that you can make it realistically, it's what we call an element. Now, here's some things that are elements. We're talking about copper, gold, and silver. All of these are examples of the different elements. And so those copper pennies to my left, those are actually what we'd consider to be element. And if you're able to break one of those down and actually look at it, you can see they're all the same type of atom. Pretty cool stuff. It's all copper. However, substances formed of two types of atoms are called compounds. And so that's what makes an element different from a compound. A compound has more than one specific type of atom in it. Water is considered a compound because water has both hydrogen and oxygen in it. When you talk about water, sometimes you'll refer to it as H2O. And when you refer to it as H2O, you are calling it by its name as far as compounds go. And the H2 stands for two hydrogens, and the O stands for one oxygen. So two different types of atoms are present in water, and that's what makes it a compound. So let's keep on moving here. Now, we're going to talk about atomic names and numbers. So every single element has these two things. It has an atomic name and it has an atomic number attached to it. So, scientists have actually identified 118 different elements. And so those elements right there are very, very, very interesting. All of them are different. They act different in a certain way. Some of them act similar, and we'll probably get to that a bit later, but not today, probably next week. Now, looking at this here, we have discovered 118 of them. Now, every element has its own atomic number, name, and symbol attached to it. Now, we talked about atomic numbers last class, and hopefully you guys remember that the atomic number is the number of protons that a atom has. That's its atomic number. So, the atomic number is different for every single element. That means every element can only have a certain number of protons. The name is different, and then the symbol is also different. Now, the symbols are very interesting, and for an example, I put on two different symbols on the screen right now. I have iron to the left, and I have oxygen to the right. And we're going to get into that a little bit here. It says some symbols come from their English name. For example, oxygen. So if you look over at oxygen to your right now, you can see that it is a capital O for oxygen. Now, that's pretty good. That's all well and done. And in fact, you can see the number 8. That number 8 is its atomic number. And if you go look over at iron, which is on your left, you can see that its atomic number is 26. And so there's 26 protons in iron. It's iron, but what's going on here? Why is iron Fe? That's kind of strange, isn't it? Oxygen is O. Why don't you just make iron I or IR? Why make it Fe? That's just confusing. Science is confusing. Why do I... No. There's a reason for it. Don't worry, because some of the actual symbols come from their Latin name. Now, Fe for iron is actually from this word right here, which is ferrum. And ferrum is actually the Latin term for iron. Now, when you guys think of Latin, or when I think of Latin, it's a dead language. Which means nobody really speaks it to communicate anymore out loud. However, Latin is the language of science. Very important to remember that. And that is why you will still see Latin showing up all over in science classes. If you were to learn Latin now, you would actually have a very distinct advantage on people when it comes to science class, because you would figure all these things out already. Now, I believe that's actually where we're ending for today, believe it or not. So you guys lucked out. You got a short video, but I still hope you're taking all your notes. Please show me the notes that you take, whether you send them through Google Docs or you are writing them by hand, which is totally awesome, and you send me a picture of them. Either way, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Tomorrow, we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different, so stay tuned. Alrighty.